I'm gonna teach you guys how I was able to own this Lamborghini Huracan for free, and I put 10,000 miles on it over the last 9 months.
Mama told me, not to sell word. Mama 17, 5, same color t-shirt.
Now in front of me is my 2015 Lamborghini Huracan 610-4, and this thing is sadly leaving, and the reason why was because I was able to drive this car for absolutely free. Now this was my first supercar I bought at the age of 21. I'm now the ripe age of 22, and I personally am allergic to depreciation. And so I'm gonna break down in this video how I was able to own this Lamborghini Huracan for completely free and put 10,000 miles on it over the last 9 months. Now, the first thing we have to go over is how much I bought it for. Now, I bought the Lamborghini Huracan for $190,000. A dealership had it posted for $210,000, Lamborghini Seattle. I got them down to $190,000, which was a pretty good wholesale number on the car, and I knew I could drive it for at least 10,000 miles and I can get all of my money out. My down payment on the car, which I went through Premier Financial Services, which I highly recommend them. They were amazing to work with and very easy when it came down to the process. I put $95,000 down on the car. I did have some extra fees, banking fees. I also had to pay like 2 months up front, which is required by Premier Financial Services. So I was able to get into this car for about $105,000 down. Now, the biggest question I get all of the time, and people are just hounding me. I go to car shows, I go to events, I'm just on the street. They're like, how much does the car cost per month? Because you usually hear Lamborghinis cost $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. Well, my Lamborghini costs $1,000 a month, and that includes taxes and my full payment. Now, you're probably saying, well, Sebastian, you probably financed this thing for 144 months. Well, you're not correct, because I did a business lease, and this allows me to write off the full car during ownership, which is amazing. Now, I still own the car, but it's structured as a lease, which allows me to write the whole thing off while owning it. So a lot of business owners do this. This is really the only way you could really buy an exotic and write the whole thing off, which is great. So really, I had this thing for 8 months. When it came down to the actual lease payments, I paid 8 payments of $1,000 a month. So $8,000 it cost me in payments to be able to own this thing. I'm a 22-year-old entrepreneur, and that means insurance is very, very costly. So my total insurance for this car was about $641 a month, which really isn't that bad for being 22 years old, driving a Lamborghini, but it is a lot of money at the end of the day. So my actual cost per month on the car to be able to own it and drive it is $1,641 a month. That includes insurance and payment. Now, during my ownership of the Lamborghini Huracan, I owned it for 8 months, right under 9 months, and I did put 10,000, just under 11,000 miles on the car over the last 8 to 9 months. Now, it's obviously a lot of miles for a Lamborghini Huracan. I bought it at 22,000 miles and I sold it just under 33,000 miles on the Lamborghini. Now, these cars are extremely reliable, so if you are looking for a Lamborghini or a Huracan, in general, the Huracan platform is insanely reliable. They have a V10 motor. Majority of the parts are from Audi, which is obviously a Volkswagen. This is the most reliable supercar you guys can buy and probably the best bang for buck. Now, during my 10,000 miles of ownership, I had 2 maintenance things I had to do. First one, tires. The 2 rear tires cost me about $1,100 to be able to change out, which really isn't that bad. They're the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and I definitely had to replace them because the wires were coming out. That means they were absolutely cooked. I had to get some new tires, but really, $1,100 for new tires on a Lamborghini wasn't that bad. And that was at the Lamborghini dealership, which I thought it was gonna be like $3,000, $4,000. And I thought they were gonna make me change out all of them. But my second time, I had to get the oil change and the transmission flushed. I took it out to one of my buddy's shops. He's actually owns an independent shop that works on Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, GTRs, stuff like that. And I did an oil change and a transmission flush and a relearning of the gears just to make sure, it stays shifty. That cost me about $1,150 to be able to pretty much do. Now, right before I did sell it, it was due for an oil change, and I was either gonna sell it or get the oil change done, and so I just decided to sell it because I got an offer I could not refuse. And that's what we're gonna talk about next. How much should I get for my Lamborghini Huracan whenever I did go sell it? Now, this thing had a full body kit, Vorsteiner body kit, Novatec lowering suspension, aftermarket exhaust, tune, steering wheel. It was just full-blown aftermarket, which sometimes is good for value and sometimes not. You have to find the right buyer, but the Vorsteiner kit 100% helped out with it. So I was actually able to sell the vehicle to DuPont Registry, sold it for $190,000, which is exactly how much I bought it for. Now, of course, when you sell a car, you have to pay extra fees and extra dues, which is totally okay with me. But when I got my equity check, it was exactly how much I bought the car for my down payment, $95,000. Which I don't really mind talking about finances with you guys because obviously this is really what it's about. Owning a Lamborghini, driving it for 10,000 miles and selling it and not having to lose any money on it. Because outside of me just selling the car for exactly how much I bought it for and owning it for pretty much free, I also got a ton of content on it. I got a ton of marketing. I went to car shows, I met people, and I was able to sell so much services and so many things just because I had that car. And my total costs over the 10,000 miles and almost 9 months of ownership was $15,328. But I can tell you, I sold a lot more services and a lot more contracts, consulting, business, everything during those 10,000 miles than that $15,000. So I got all my money out from the initial down payment of the $95,000, and it only cost me just over $15,000 over the last 9 months to be able to drive a Lamborghini Huracan, which comes up to about, let me figure this out, about $1,703 a month, which is really not that bad for owning a Lamborghini. So is a Lamborghini Huracan worth the investment? Especially if you're a business owner, I would say 100%, but you have to buy it right. People overpay for supercars all the time, and then when they go to sell them, they've put too many miles on them, they've owned them for too long, or they just paid way too much in the beginning, and then obviously the car isn't worth as much. I waited for almost a year for the right car, the right spec, and obviously the right deal. Am I gonna get another one? 100%, but I have to get the right deal. So I have a car buyer going out and finding me a wholesale deal on a few other new cars, either a Lamborghini Huracan Performante, a Lamborghini Huracan STO, a Lamborghini Aventador S, or a Porsche 992 GT3 RS. So as long as I find a deal within one of those 4 cars, I will consider pulling the trigger. In this economy, guys, this is an attention economy. The more attention you get, the more money you make. Now, if you want to drive a supercar and not obviously pay any money, it is very difficult to do. You have to buy it right. It's about the purchase price of the car when you first get it, and then you can put as many miles as you want. Obviously, in consideration, you'll put 100,000 miles on it, and you too can own a supercar for free. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment because it really does help with the algorithm. I'll see you guys in the next one.